Welcome to the Timeless Tales Library, where each story is a soft key that unlocks the quiet spaces of your imagination. I'm Oliver, your host for the evening, and tonight I'll be sharing a gentle tale meant to calm your thoughts and carry you peacefully towards sleep. This haven of restful stories is brought to life by listeners like you. If you've found solace here, please consider subscribing to help us continue weaving these serene narratives. As you settle in, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below, letting me know where you're listening from, and share a place you dream of a story taking you. Perhaps a lighthouse on a wind-swept cliff, a lantern-lit street in Kyoto, a cozy bookshop in the rain, or a meadow beneath the northern lights. Your dreams keep our little library warm and glowing. This story is about a winter train journey through a landscape softened by rain, where time moves differently and the ordinary world falls away. It is a passage from wakefulness into quiet, from movement into stillness, carried by the gentle rhythm of wheels on rails and drops against glass. Now, close your eyes and take a deep breath, letting the worries of the day unroll and flatten out. You are entering the Golden Scroll Room, a special chamber within the Timeless Tales Library. This is a place for the oldest, most precious stories, tales written on scrolls of shimmering gold that glow with the warmth of a setting sun. The air is still, carrying a faint scent of old paper and quiet wisdom. Feel your body settle into the rich, soft fabric of your bed, your own personal alcove in this gilded room. Let the weight of your head, your arms, and your legs release. The golden glow of the scrolls fills the room, a gentle and comforting light that soothes your mind and body. Unroll the first scroll, let the words drift into your thoughts like dust motes in a sunbeam, leading you toward a deep and peaceful rest. The midnight train through winter rain. You step onto the platform as the first raindrops begin to fall. They arrive not in a hurried cascade, but slowly, almost thoughtfully, as though the sky itself is testing the air before committing to the downpour. One drop lands on the brim of your coat, cool and distinct, followed by another on the back of your hand, then a third that kisses the tip of your nose. Each one feels deliberate, like the opening notes of a lullaby played on a distant piano. One soft touch, a pause, then another, building a rhythm that is unhurried and intimate. The winter air is crisp but not biting, carrying just enough chill to make the contrast with your skin noticeable, yet not enough to drive you indoors. The rain is temperate, almost tender, falling with the same quiet certainty as your own breathing, as natural and inevitable as the slow descent of dusk over the station. The platform stretches long and empty before you, a wide expanse of weathered concrete edged by iron railings that have long since rusted into a soft, reddish patina. Only a handful of amber lamps glow along its length, old-fashioned globes perched atop curved iron posts, their light warm and diffused as it filters through the emerging veil of rain. The mist turns each lamp into a small haloed sun, floating gently in the damp air, softening every edge and blurring every line until the world feels wrapped in gauze. The wooden benches that line the platform gleam faintly with the first layer of moisture, their grain darkened and highlighted in alternating stripes of shadow and reflected light. Beyond the benches, the old brick station building stands solid and reassuring, its arched windows glowing from within, with a honeyed warmth that promises shelter, tea, perhaps even conversation if you wanted it, though tonight you do not. In the distance, carried on the still air, you hear the first low rumble of the approaching train. It is not a sharp or insistent sound, but a deep, comforting note that vibrates faintly through the soles of your shoes and up into your chest. The train is not rushing, it is simply coming, drawing nearer with the patience of something that has traveled these tracks for decades and knows there is no need to hurry. The sound grows gradually, layered with the faint hiss of steam and the rhythmic clack of wheels on rails far down the line, until it becomes a presence as much as a noise, an approaching tide that will lift you gently and carry you away. You stand there for a long moment, coat collar turned up, hands in pockets, letting the rain touch your face. You tilt your head back slightly, eyes half closed, feeling each cool droplet land and linger before tracing its own path downward. Some slide along the curve of your cheek, others catch on your lashes for a heartbeat before falling. The scent of the rain is pure winter, clean and mineral rich, like the air beside a mountain stream in January, or the sharp expectant stillness just before the first snow. It fills your lungs as you breathe deeply, and with every inhalation something inside you begins to loosen tight muscles in your shoulders, a faint knot of tension behind your eyes, the accumulated weight of thoughts you have carried too long. The rain does not demand anything of you, it simply is, and in its presence you find permission to simply be. The train rounds the final curve and glides into the station on a sigh of steam and settling metal. It is not one of the sleek, modern expresses that slice through the night with impatient efficiency. This train belongs to an older time, one that understood the value of slowness and ceremony. The carriages are painted a deep midnight blue that borders on black in the dim light, their surfaces gleaming wetly under the lamps. Brass fittings, handles, nameplates, window frames catch the amber glow and hold it softly, reflecting it back in warm, muted flashes. Every window glows from within with the same inviting light you saw in the station building, promising warmth, shelter, and the particular kind of rest that only comes from being in motion while surrounded by comfort. The doors open with a soft, pneumatic whisper. You step aboard. The warmth inside embraces you immediately, not as a sudden rush of heat, but as a gradual, enveloping welcome, like walking into a house where a fire has been burning patiently for hours, tended just for your arrival. The air carries layered scents, the faint, reassuring polish of well-kept wood, the dry, papery aroma of old books stacked somewhere out of sight, a distant hint of something baking, perhaps bread or scones in a galley car far down the train, the earthy dampness of rain on wool from your own coat, and beneath it all, the subtle, indefinable fragrance of a journey about to begin. You find yourself in a narrow corridor carpeted in deep burgundy that swallows the sound of your footsteps entirely. The walls are panelled in dark walnut, the grain rich and swirling, polished to a soft sheen that reflects the light from small brass sconces spaced at perfect intervals. Each sconce holds a frosted glass shade that diffuses the glow into gentle pools, leaving soft shadows between them. Outside the windows that line one side, the platform lights streak past in elongated trails of amber and gold as the train begins its imperceptible departure. You walk slowly, letting your fingers trail lightly along the wood paneling for balance, though the train is so smooth you barely need it. The motion is almost undetectable at first, no lurch, no sudden pull, just a seamless gliding away from the station as the platform slips backward and dissolves into the rain. The sound of the rain against the windows and roof becomes a constant companion, a soft, rhythmic percussion that matches something deep within you, a cadence you had almost forgotten. Tap, 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 like a heartbeat slowed to perfect calm, like breathing measured and deep, like the oldest lullaby ever sung, passed down through generations of travelers seeking rest. Halfway down the carriage, you find your compartment. The door slides open at the lightest touch, revealing a small, perfect sanctuary. The seats are upholstered in velvet, the color of winter twilight, a deep, soft blue-gray that seems to absorb and hold the last faint light of day. Plush cushions are scattered invitingly, and a small fold-down table bears a single lamp with a pleated silk shade that casts a warm, encompassing glow over everything. One entire wall is dominated by a wide window, already streaked with rain, framing the world outside in constantly shifting patterns. You settle into the seat nearest the window, sinking deeply into the velvet as it yields and molds around you like the most forgiving embrace. The train rocks very gently now, a slow, steady sway that seems to whisper, "Rest now, let go now, be carried." Outside, the winter landscape begins to reveal itself in all its muted beauty. The rain has transformed the world into something halfway between reality and dream. Bare trees stand in open fields, their branches etched in sharp black against the heavy grey silver sky, each twig and limb outlined with a delicate tracing of rainwater that catches whatever faint light remains and fractures it into tiny prisms. The fields themselves lie fallow, sleeping peacefully under winter's quiet hand, their furrows softened and blurred by mist and falling water until they resemble gentle waves frozen in place. Here and there, a lone hedgerow or cluster of evergreens provides contrast dark, solid shapes that anchor the eye amid the softness. The rain comes in waves now, sometimes intensifying into a steady drum against the glass that fills the compartment with soothing white noise, drowning out every extraneous thought, sometimes softening to a whisper that allows the deeper sounds of the train to emerge, the rhythmic pulse of wheels on rails, the faint creak of the carriage settling into its stride, the occasional distant clatter from another part of the train. You watch individual droplets race down the window pane, each one carving its own path, merging with others, separating again, creating ever-changing rivers and tributaries across the glass. Behind this living veil, the landscape continues its slow parade. A small village appears briefly on the horizon, then draws nearer. Cottages huddle close together along a winding lane, their windows glowing with warm light that spills out onto wet cobblestones. Smoke rises lazily from multiple chimneys, only to be caught and dispersed almost immediately by the rain, creating fleeting grey ghosts in the air. You glimpse a church with a tall stone steeple standing sentinel over the rooftops, and a little arched bridge of pale stone spanning a stream now swollen and dark with winter runoff. For a moment you imagine the lives inside those glowing windows, someone stirring a pot over a stove, another reading by lamplight, a child pressing their face to the glass, watching the train pass just as you watch them. Then the village slides away behind you, reclaimed by the mist, and the open fields return. As evening truly deepens, the sky cycles through deepening shades of grey until it approaches charcoal, then something closer to true darkness, yet never quite black, retaining that particular winter twilight hue when the world seems to hold its breath between day and night. The compartment lamp burns a little brighter in compensation, turning the window into a magical frame, where occasional distant lights bloom suddenly like nocturnal flowers, perhaps a farmhouse, perhaps another village before fading again into the rain-soft distance. You realize, with a quiet sense of surprise, that you are not thinking about anything in particular. Your mind has slipped its usual tethers and begun to drift, carried along by the gentle motion of the train and the endless percussion of rain. Thoughts arise like mist, fleeting impressions of past journeys, half-remembered melodies, vague wonderings about where this track might lead, and then dissipate just as quickly, leaving no residue. This emptiness is profoundly restful, a spaciousness you did not know you craved until it arrived. A soft rattling announces the approach of the refreshment cart long before it appears, the delicate clink of porcelain cups, the muted whisper of wheels on thick carpet. When it glides into view, it is pushed by an attendant whose presence is so unobtrusive they seem almost an extension of the train itself, quiet, efficient, attuned to the atmosphere of gentle repose that pervades the carriage. Something warm, perhaps? The voice is soft, pitched perfectly not to shatter the quiet. You nod, and moments later a cup is placed on the small table before you. The liquid within is the rich color of dark honey held to lamplight, steam rising in delicate, fragrant spirals. The scent is layered and comforting, chamomile flowers, real vanilla bean, wildflower honey, and something deeper, perhaps a trace of cinnamon or clove, that evokes childhood winters and unconditional care. The attendant withdraws as silently as they arrived, leaving you alone again with the rain, the darkness gathering outside, and the warm cup cradled between your palms. You hold it for a long while without drinking, simply letting the heat seep into your skin, traveling up your wrists and forearms, spreading through your chest like slow sunlight after long clouds. Only when the warmth has reached every part of you do you raise the cup to your lips. The first sip is perfection itself, not too hot, not too sweet, but exactly balanced, as though someone far away knew precisely what your body and spirit required in this precise moment. The train carries you deeper into the winter night. The rain continues its patient ministry, and you watch, mesmerized, as the patterns on the window evolve endlessly. Forests appear now, dense stands of trees whose branches interlace overhead like the vaulted ceiling of an ancient cathedral. Even in near darkness, even through rain-blurred glass, you sense the deep stillness of the woods, the patience of centuries accumulated in trunk and root. Most trees stand bare, their limbs a complex lacework against the sky, but here and there stubborn evergreens hold their dark needles, providing depth and mystery. The sound of rain changes within the forest, filtered through layers of branches and needles. It becomes softer, more diffuse, a hushed susurration that wraps the carriage like a thick shawl. You take another slow sip of your drink, feeling the warmth pool in your stomach and radiate outward, and watch the dark trees slide past in stately procession. When the train emerges from the forest, the landscape opens dramatically. You are now traveling along the shore of a vast lake, its surface black and rippling under the impact of countless raindrops. Each drop creates its own perfect circle that spreads, overlaps, merges with others until the entire lake becomes a living meditation, circles within circles within circles, a constantly shifting pattern of motion on stillness. Across the water, the far shore is only a suggestion of deeper darkness marked by occasional pinpricks of light that could be houses, could be reflections of stars you cannot yet see, could be something else entirely. Boundaries blur in this rain-softened world. The train follows the gentle curve of the shoreline, rocking you with a rhythm as old as travel itself. You rest your forehead against the cool glass, feeling the faint vibration of the rails through it, a steady thrumming that resonates in your bones, in your slowing heartbeat, in the deepening quiet of your mind. Your eyelids grow heavy, not with exhaustion but with the pleasant weight of true relaxation. You let them drift closed for a moment, and even behind closed lids you can still perceive the rain, its sound, its cool memory on your skin, its endless lullaby. When you open your eyes again, though you are not certain how much time has passed, the rain has thinned to the finest mist, almost more vapor than water. Through this gauzy veil, the clouds are parting in slow, deliberate sections, revealing the first winter stars, bright, cold, impossibly clear, hanging closer than stars have any right to be. One by one they appear, then in clusters, until patches of sky are filled with diamond light. The train slows further, almost to a crawl, and you realize you are approaching another station. But this is nothing like the first. This is barely a station at all, just a short stretch of wooden planking with a single open-sided shelter roofed in shake shingles. Beyond the platform, a path leads away into the darkness, marked at regular intervals by old-fashioned lanterns hanging from crooked iron posts. Real flames flicker within glass chimneys, casting pools of true golden light onto the wet boards and gravel beyond. The train comes to rest with the softest possible sigh. The doors open. Something unspoken draws you to your feet. You gather your coat about you and step down onto the small platform. The air that meets you is cold but pure, sharp with evergreen and wet earth and the clean aftermath of rain. Every surface gleams. The wooden planks dark and reflective, the lantern glass beaded with lingering droplets, even the gravel of the path shining like scattered obsidian. The rain has stopped entirely, leaving the world washed and new. Overhead, the sky has become a revelation. The clouds have parted fully now, and the stars are innumerable, spilling across the darkness in rivers and clusters and solitary sparks. The Milky Way arches overhead like a pathway of ground diamonds, visible in such clarity it takes your breath away. You walk slowly to the edge of the platform where the lantern-lit path begins. The night is perfectly still, no wind stirs the pines that crowd close on either side, no sound disturbs the silence except your own measured breathing and the occasional distant drip of water from the shelter eaves. Drip, long pause, drip, long pause, each drop a small, perfect punctuation in the vast quiet. At the start of the path you pause, looking ahead. The lanterns stretch away in a gentle curve, each flame steady and bright, promising safe passage. Beyond their reach you sense rather than see tall trees, perhaps the suggestion of a building, something waiting patiently in the starlit dark. You step onto the path. The gravel is soft underfoot, already beginning to dry in the cold, dry air. Each footfall makes only the faintest crunch. The lanterns guide you past towering pines whose branches sweep low, heavy with collected rain. Occasionally a branch releases its burden and a scatter of drops falls around you like cool, whispered secrets. The air you breathe is sharp and invigorating, filling your lungs with resin and starlight and the particular clarity that only comes after rain. The path curves gently to the left, then opens into a small clearing, and there it is. A cabin, small, perfect, built of dark logs that have weathered to a rich silver brown. Its windows glow warmly from within, light spilling out in soft rectangles onto a narrow porch. A single steady column of smoke rises from the fieldstone chimney, climbing straight up into the star-filled sky before dispersing among the branches overhead. The front door is painted a deep, welcoming red, and it stands slightly ajar, as though someone inside has been expecting you for a very long time. You climb the 3 broad steps to the porch. The wood rail is smooth under your palm, worn by years of weather and gentle hands into something soft and reassuring. You push the door fully open and step inside. The warmth that greets you is immediate but never overpowering, like the embrace of an old friend who knows exactly how tightly to hold you. The space is small, one main room with a compact kitchen area in one corner, and a narrow staircase, suggesting a sleeping loft above, but it contains everything essential and nothing superfluous. A river stone fireplace dominates one wall, and within it a fire burns low and steady, flames moving in that slow, contented dance they perform when they have been well laid, and will burn contentedly for hours without tending. Logs pop occasionally, sending up small showers of sparks that die before they reach the hearth. The walls are lined with shelves holding quiet treasures, leather-bound books whose spines suggest long companionship, smooth river stones in shades of grey and rose, small carvings of birds and animals in pale wood, a collection of pine cones arranged by size, a few feathers, hawk, owl, crow tucked into a glass jar. The floor is covered in overlapping rugs of deep burgundy, navy, and forest green, thick and soft underfoot. A single deep armchair sits angled toward the fire, upholstered in faded velvet the color of storm clouds, with a thick wool blanket in soft cream draped over one arm. Beside it, a small round table holds a lantern with a cracked amber glass shade, and a short stack of books whose titles you cannot yet read. But it is the far wall that stops you in your tracks. Almost the entire wall is glass, a single expansive window looking out over a small wooden deck, and, beyond it, the lake. You cross the room slowly, drawn as if by gravity. The view is breathtaking in its quiet perfection. The lake stretches away into starlit darkness, its surface now perfectly calm, reflecting the sky above with mirror clarity. Stars above and stars below, doubled and infinite, until it is impossible to tell where water ends and sky begins. The world has become one vast sphere of starlight, with you suspended gently at its center, the cabin a small, warm arc, floating in an ocean of night. A glass door set into the window wall leads out onto the deck. You open it and step through. The cold night air meets you again, but this time it feels invigorating rather than harsh, clean, honest, alive. The deck is wide and sturdy, built of the same weathered wood as the cabin. Several Adirondack chairs are arranged along the railing, each with a thick folded blanket waiting on the seat. In the center, a stone-lined fire pit holds the glowing embers of an earlier fire, still radiating faint warmth into the night. You choose the chair that faces directly out over the lake and unfold the blanket across your lap. It is impossibly soft, perhaps cashmere or fine wool, and carries the faint, comforting sense of cedar and lavender. You settle back, and the chair seems to adjust itself to your body, supporting every curve and angle, inviting complete release. Above you, the stars are beyond counting. Winter constellations blaze with cold fire, Orion striding across the sky, Taurus charging, the Pleiades a tight cluster of diamonds. Fainter stars fill every gap until the sky becomes a solid field of light broken only by the dark silhouettes of distant mountains. The Milky Way sweeps overhead in a broad, luminous band, a river of star souls or cosmic dust, or all the dreams ever dreamed made visible at last. And below, the lake returns the gift in perfect symmetry. Every star, every faint glow, every shimmering band has its twin in the water, creating a sphere of light with no top or bottom, no beginning or end. You are held gently between mirror and original, earth and heaven, darkness and illumination. A sound so soft you almost miss it breaks the silence. A single raindrop falls onto the deck railing nearby. Then, after a long pause, another. The rain has begun again, but this is a different rain entirely. These drops fall at vast intervals, each one distinct and deliberate. One lands on the blanket over your knee. You count slowly to 10 before the next touches the wooden arm of your chair. Another long breath, and a third falls into the fire pit with a tiny hiss among the embers. The rhythm is exquisite. Drop, long stillness. Drop, long stillness. It matches your breathing perfectly, or perhaps your breathing has slowed to match the rain. In this moment, the world has synchronized itself to your innermost cadence, or you have finally aligned yourself with the world's ancient, patient pulse. You sit wrapped in blanket and starlight and the gentlest rain imaginable, held in a silence so complete it feels like the hush before creation. The journey that began with the first raindrops on a lonely platform has carried you not merely across miles but into a deeper stillness, a place where time loosens its grip and the boundaries between self and world dissolve into reflected light. Here, beneath infinite stars and their infinite reflections, with the cabin's warm glow at your back and the vast night embracing you, you understand that you have arrived not at a destination, but at a beginning. The rain falls softly, slowly, endlessly, counting out the measure of a peace so complete it feels like home. Tap, breathe. Tap, breathe. The raindrops fall onto the lake surface, each one creating a perfect circle that expands outward, disturbing the reflection of stars just slightly before settling again. The pattern is mesmerizing, the stars steady and eternal above, their reflections constantly rippling and reforming below, the rain creating an endless dance between permanence and change. You realize you're not thinking anymore. There's nothing to think about. All the concerns that seemed so important, all the worries that filled your days, have been washed away by the rain, dissolved in the darkness, released into the vast space between the stars. There's only this moment, this breath, this gentle falling of rain in the night. Your eyes grow heavy again, but this time you don't fight it. You let your gaze soften, let the stars blur slightly, let the boundary between waking and sleeping begin to dissolve. The blanket holds you, the chair supports you, the rain falls in its patient rhythm. Tap, breathe, tap, breathe. Through half-closed eyes, you watch the stars reflected in the water. They seem to pulse slightly, to breathe with their own rhythm, and you realize that everything is breathing. The rain, the stars, the lake, the winter night itself. all of it inhaling and exhaling in perfect synchronicity, and you are part of that rhythm, held within it, moved by it like a leaf on the surface of a calm pond. The rain continues, slow and steady, not the rain of storms and urgency, but the rain of deep winter nights, the rain that falls when the world is sleeping, when even the rain itself seems to be dreaming. Each drop is a small blessing, a tiny gift of water returning to water, of all things returning to their source. Your breathing deepens, slows, the spaces between each breath grow longer, more peaceful. The chair holds you like hands, like love, like everything safe and warm and good in the world. The blanket is a cocoon, a nest, a place of absolute security. Beyond the deck, the lake continues its meditation, reflecting stars and rain and darkness in equal measure. Somewhere far away, you hear the train whistle low and long and infinitely gentle, like a lullaby carried on the night air. It's not calling you back. It's simply saying, rest now, rest now, rest now, and you do. The stars wheel slowly overhead in their ancient patterns. The rain falls. The lake receives each drop and reflects each star, and you are held between them, surrounded by the soft percussion of rain on wood, on water, on the whole quiet world. Your eyes close completely now. You could open them if you wanted, but there's no need. The stars are still there, you can feel them. The rain is still there, you can hear it. The night is still there, holding you gently in its vast, tender darkness. Tap, breathe, tap, breathe. The rhythm is perfect, eternal. It was here before you arrived and will be here after you've gone, but right now, in this moment, it's just for you, this rain, these stars, this quiet peace that fills every corner of the night. You sink deeper into the chair, into the blanket, into the softness that surrounds you. Your body is heavy now, completely relaxed, every muscle releasing, every tension dissolving like sugar in water, like stars in daylight, like all things that were never meant to last. The rain continues its gentle conversation with the lake. Tap, tap, tap. Such a simple sound, but it contains everything, all comfort, all peace, all rest. It's the sound of water finding water, of everything returning home, and you are going home too, not to a place but to a state, to that deep quiet that lives beneath all things, that was there before you were born and will be there after, that patient darkness that asks nothing and gives everything. The stars blur further, the rain softens to barely a whisper, the world grows dim and distant, not disappearing but transforming, becoming something softer, something dreamlike, something perfectly, utterly safe. And as you drift across that threshold between waking and sleeping, between the world and dreams, you carry with you the sound of rain on water, the image of stars reflected in darkness, the feeling of being held by something vast and gentle and infinitely kind. The train waits, patient and silent, on its rails, but there's no hurry. There has never been any hurry. The journey is complete. You have arrived at the place you were always heading, the place that was waiting all along this moment of perfect peace, this breath, this heartbeat, this gentle falling of rain in the winter night. Tap, breathe, tap, breathe. The stars shine on. The rain falls. The lake receives and reflects and holds everything in its dark, calm surface, and you rest finally, completely, wrapped in blankets and darkness and the soft percussion of rain, drifting now into sleep, as gentle and inevitable as the tide, as natural and easy as stars appearing in the evening sky, as peaceful as winter rain falling on quiet water, falling and falling and falling, endless and patient and soft, carrying you down, down, down into the deep, sweet darkness where there is nothing to do and nothing to be except exactly this: breathing, resting, sleeping, home.